Cool. All right, go.
Yeah. I mean, playstyle wise, uh, right now I play pretty carefully, I think. I used to be really like super aggressive, and just do like a lot of stupid shit. But I started like watching some of your videos, and I think I'm starting to die less. Yeah.
That's
Like
good.
I think
Okay.
I think I'm okay in lane, but team fighting is definitely like the hardest thing for me.
Ah, okay. We'll definitely take a look. Which one of these games do you think will highlight? Woo, excuse me, the team
Bless
fighting
you.
aspect.
Um,
Or should I just go with any of these?
I think if you click on the video, there should be like a description that talks about something. I think Varus 4 is a good one.
Okay. Um, interesting. Really
Yeah,
tough
team
laning
fighting.
phase, playing from behind and trying to stay useful. Okay. We can see what happens here. This is recent, right?
Yeah, this one's the most recent one.
Oh, baby! Free win in the jungle. Jesus Christ, they're all actually dying. And he got his flash. Wow. Alrighty
Yeah.
then. Hot damn. Oh, and a red buff. Wow. How can this go any better? Wait, did I just see Lee check his red? Oh my lord. This is 10 out of 10 beginning. Interesting
Mm-hmm.
game. So how does this lane go poorly, I guess? Ah, I see. So you mentioned that you watched some of my videos already, right? So
Mm-hmm.
which of those, what do those videos cover, I guess, is the question I'm
Um,
looking for.
the ones that I watched was making sure that using like you're getting value out of your abilities.
Mm-hmm.
Mostly those ones.
Okay. Good. It looked like you did have a really good E there, right? You got a bunch of W stacks and you slapped them in the face with the
Yeah.
E. Interesting. What's going on here? I guess we just didn't couldn't follow up because it's too far away. Sure. So how does this landing phase go so poorly? I mean, it seems like you guys are in total control here.
Mm.
Let's say since you guys have no flash, are we in danger of dying to a gank? And if we are, at what point will the gank happen?
I mean, for me, usually I would guess ganks usually happen when I hit level 4. If he started like bot side, if he started from top side, he'd probably gank me right now.
Yeah, this would be around the same time, but this game is kind of interesting in terms of
Yeah.
the early game. So Lee Sin is definitely not anywhere near here. So this is just us all alone. Wait, okay. So what's going on here? Yeah. So what's going on here? In
I
these
think I'm just
last,
reading for
the last
CS.
10 seconds, what happened?
I was just kind of focused more on getting CS here.
And I guess it's just super unfortunate. All right, so we can talk about this. So in terms of laning, what can we do better in these sequence of events, right? Because we're in very much total control of this lane, right? So okay, let's say in terms of let's talk about in terms of what you want to do. What do you want to do in this position? You want to push? You want to freeze? You want to last hit? Do you want to fight them? What do you want to do?
I want to push the wave.
Okay, agreed.
Yeah.
And why is that?
Well, I mean, like Lee Sin had a pretty bad start, so I feel like I could push the wave and not get punished for that.
Right. So you can't get ganked, and pushing has its advantages, right?
Yeah.
And so what are they gonna do to stop you from pushing? I guess is what's going on
Well,
here.
yeah. Like they would just put out as much damage as they could on me.
They're just gonna throw shit at you, right? So where should we
Mm-hmm.
stand to make sure that it's impossible to get hit? I guess.
I guess closer to river.
Okay, that's a good option. What if can you dodge brand abilities if you can't see him?
No.
Right. So or maybe you could, but it's really hard, right? So
Yeah.
we could also do what to make sure that we can see him when he's casting stuff.
Ward the bush.
Right. So there's a few things that happen here that's kind of unfortunate, but the first is we have E basically didn't do anything, right? So there's one, and you already know that because you've already seen videos of value, right? And you showed that you got really good value earlier when you were hitting them, and then you use their E, right? So that's part of the reason why this is actually a win if you had it here, right? All you do is hit him twice, and then you can just hit him, and then you actually win the trade, surprisingly. And why would I say that? You guys would do even amount of damage, but you win because you have what?
I don't know.
Trading is good. Why? I guess should be the question.
So you have lane priority?
Because you have, let's say you have a Soraka, and I said you want to trade. Why would I say that?
Because she can just heal me back up.
Yes. Okay. Do we have anything like that in this lane?
Not really.
Well, doesn't Taric, even though Taric's healing is not quite as potent as Soraka's, isn't it gradually going to heal you up to full, especially when he's at full mana?
Yeah.
So if you take even trades, right? Say you do 100 damage to him, he does 100 damage to you. We will consider that good, right? Because you can get healed and he cannot, right? So trading is a viable tactic in this lane, right? So that's why if you had your E, because your E is the only way you can trade, right? If you had your E, you could trade with him here. But the reason why it feels like we can't do anything is because one, we should have warded the bush, but the overall concept is he's gonna throw shit at you, so make sure you dodge it. And then the second is you shouldn't use your abilities unless you have really good value, and that's like especially important for Varus, right? Because you you literally can't do anything except cast abilities, right? You can auto attack, but if you miss an ability, it's over, right? Whether you're trading or you're all-inning or whatever, you literally can't do anything. So kind of lose a little bit of HP, but honestly, as long as we're not dead, I think it shouldn't be too big of a problem. It's just kind of awkward because I think we were able to do a lot in the lane, but now it's like less so. But honestly, it just the thing that'll cover the most is just don't use your E unless you've got at least 1 or 2 auto attacks, right? And that's for trading, right? If you're all-inning, of course, get more auto attacks, but that's kind of why we're stuck in this situation, right? It's because we did that, and then Jin walked up, and then there was no punish because we didn't have anything to punish with. This is actually kind of awkward. We're actually losing so much HP. Hold up, let's watch this. Dude, maybe Brand just OP or something. Who knows?
Oh, I walked into that one.
Yeah. Okay, so if you're playing against a poke catch lane like Zyro, Brand, Xerath, whatever, what is the priority in terms of things you can do in lane? So if I said things you can do in lane are CSing, right? Not getting hit, and like things like warding and roaming or whatever, what's your first priority and your second priority?
I think my first priority would be CSing, and then
so let's say in this example we got every single CS here, right? But we lost control of the lane.
Yeah.
So is that a good thing, bad thing, or maybe okay?
That's a pretty bad thing.
Yeah, you got it all, which is not bad, but now you can't get the next 2 CS, right? So what should the priority be, do you think?
HP.
Right. Well, specifically not getting hit by the poke, right? First priority is to dodge, right? Overall, everything else. Like a more obvious example is Blitzcrank, right? So if you go for a cannon minion and he hooks your ass, you're gonna die for the cannon minion. That's not worth, right? I think you've seen that. I think you've seen that before or been hit by that. I've been hit by that before, right? So the first priority is not getting hit, no matter what, right? Doesn't matter if it's poke, doesn't matter if it's catch. You really don't want to get hit, no matter what, right? And then the second priority is CS, right? So that's what should be going through your head is if I go for this CS, how's Brand gonna hit me, right? And then if you say, oh, he's just gonna cast W and you have no answer, then you should A, fake going for the CS, or B, just don't go for the CS, right? But under no circumstances do we want the outcome to be we get hit. Because now, even though you got all that CS before, you're missing all the CS now because we have no HP, right? So that's the reason why we have to prioritize not getting hit first. Except now you can't do anything. You get dove here and you die, right? There's nothing you can do. So that's the kind of reasoning behind that, right? Let's say honestly, this is just an issue with playing against poke supports, right? From what I'm seeing, at least, right? The kind of way you want to deal with them is actually, yeah. How would you say you would deal with Brand as Tarek Varus? Ideally speaking, how do you beat this lane?
Baiting out abilities and then going in with Tarek's stun.
Right. So you want to all in, and if you dodge something, you definitely win all in, right? Basically, that's the idea, right? Or you can even if you dodge brand shit, you can even trade with Jin and then heal up with Tarek, right? Anything like that is very good. Those are the things you want to aim for, right? But if you get poked down, there's just not much you can do, right? So honestly, if you get hit, it's like whatever. As long as you guys aren't losing the game off it, we don't want to worry about that too much. But just know that you should just know that the priority is not getting hit, right? That's the priority over anything else, right? Because getting hit means you can't do anything else. Eventually, you can't do anything else, right? Okay, you have a huge ass wave. Oh, he flashed too early, so he's gonna get hit by an ulti. Maybe not. She doesn't have ulti. Okay, that's really awkward. Whatever. Unfortunate, but how do we lose so much HP? We probably tanked the minions, didn't we? Yeah, we were trying to help. That's fine. Yeah, as you can see, like honestly, even though laning phase isn't going so great, I don't think it'll be that big of a deal going into the later stages of the game. Obviously, it's like, oh, you want to win lane, but it's not realistic to win every lane, right? But losing lane is costing us this, right? Where we're unable to do anything in lane, losing lane, and then we lost our jungle too, which is kind of awkward. So it might be something we want to look at. And the real big thing here is the idea of not getting hit, right? That's the main priority, right? So if I showed you an example where you play against Ezreal and Blitzcrank, let me see if I can. Oh, no, Ezreal and Alistar, right? So if we fast forward to any of these, or you just rewind to any of these. The idea is that you'll give them an opportunity to hit you. Let me see when he casts his Q. Come on, there has to be a good example here somewhere. You'll give him an opportunity to cast his Q, right? Let me see. It's coming up sometime. It's not. Let me see. Okay, so while I'm looking for it, the idea is, what do you think about the idea of you walk into a spot where he can hit you, and then you immediately dodge out, and you'll bait him into shooting his Q, right? Does that sound familiar to you?
Yeah.
Right, so that's the general concept, right? Yo, I definitely missed like at least 10 of these somewhere. I don't know what happened. Okay, hold up. We're just gonna watch from the beginning.
That's all good.
Yeah, that's exactly what you should be trying to do with Brand, I guess. It's basically you versus the support. That's the matchup, right? It's you versus the support, right? So something like this, where you give yourself a wide angle. The instant you see Ezreal do something, what do you think it's gonna be?
Probably EQ or something.
Level 1. This is level 1, right? So the instant, yes, because he's not gonna auto anything, right? There's nothing to auto here. I was trying to bait him here, but he didn't fall for it. But let's see if we can find another example where you try and give them as many opportunities as possible while you're ready to dodge, right? So you have a plan to dodge, right? So something like this. Okay. That's what you're looking for, right? So if we find a game with Brand, let me see. Actually, I don't think I have a game with Brand anytime soon. But that's the general idea, is that you're in the bush, right? So we were at 8 something. We'll go back there. But let's say he's in this bush. When did this start? Here, right? What is he gonna do? He's gonna cast. This is his max distance range, right? So what you're gonna do is walk here, and then you just walk up, right? And you just continuously walk between those two spots where he can hit you and he can't hit you. And I promise you, these guys will throw it at the first chance they get, right? They're gonna throw that shit at the first chance they get, right? So here we can just walk up, right, and we're good to go. Or honestly, even if we got hit, it wouldn't have been a problem if we saved our E. But I think the combination of those two kind of made it so we couldn't really do anything when Jin walked up, right? So I think the bigger issue though is getting hit, right? That's the the general idea, right? As long as you know the general idea, just try and figure a way on how to do it, right? So it looks like you have really good grasp on getting value. It was just that one time was a what's it called? An exception, right? The one time you threw that E was just like you thought you had to follow up with Tariq stun, right? But even if you do follow up with just like a tiny E, it's like a 16-second cooldown, right? So it's not worth. It's not worth. You always want auto attack in an E at least, right? And then when you're all-inning, you get all those autos in it. So this is really good, right? The fighting was really good, from what I'm seeing at least. In terms of value, this is really good. Oh, this guy's gonna die. Why isn't Tariq going for this? What's going on? He could have whooped his ass. This guy might actually get away because of that. Oh no.
Oh god. Oh god.
Okay. Back it up. I think your Tariq baited you, but let's watch this. Okay. There's a mix of things going on here. Okay, and I won't fault you for this because it's not entirely your fault, right? So let's say he lands this, and ideally speaking, all you guys have to do is just hit him and you win, right? But your Tariq backs off. So this is kind of, I think you had the right look. This is the right thing to do, right? You want to look for this. And then the thing that makes this complicated, which is why you die, is because there's a certain point during this engagement where you realize you don't have enough damage to finish him off. So tell me at what point is that?
I don't know. I mean, as soon as Tariq backs off, I feel like maybe I should have.
Exactly. As soon as Tariq backs off, right? This you see him like not want this. He baited you by turning around. But once that happens, you can't. There's no real chase here, right? And it's like super unfortunate because it should have worked. But I don't know. That was like a nice try, I think, right? I'm not sure how you can get out of this because your Tariq just abandons you, but I think everyone just dies here. Honestly, I would have fought you for that, right? Because I think you had the right idea.
Okay.
But if your team is running away or something, you should be like, oh, this is Dunzo for whatever reason. The other thing you can do is to make yourself team independent is get more value, right? So how do you squeeze more value out of this?
Auto him and then ulti?
Yeah, exactly. Something like that. Or 4 stacks before you E or something like that, right? Something super crazy. But honestly, I wouldn't fight you for that fight there. Another thing you could talk about there is like map awareness. You know, you should know Brand is coming back, so it's a 2v2. But I think that was a don't worry about it for sure, right? I was unlucky. We'll call that unlucky. Another thing too, I noticed you had like a item build or itemization in your description. One thing to note is I think you don't want to get the blasting wand if you have nothing else to buy, right? So let's say in this example, you want to build a rage blade, but all you can afford is a blasting wand. So you buy the recurve, and then what do you buy? I would say you buy boots, right? And then you can finish your Gunsus later. And the reason why is because this blasting wand doesn't do anything for you. Maybe gives you like some damage on W and R, but it's considering how we're struggling to dodge Jin and Brand stuff, we should maybe prioritize speed, right? That's always a good idea, right? Here they want to do dragons, so we kind of hope. Sure, maybe we can kill Jin here. No Jin. Yes, kill Jin. Okay, good. Very nice. This guy just dies for free. Throw an ulti. Okay, very good. 10 out of 10, right? So far, I think your fighting has been pretty good. It's just the laning is the biggest thing I think you could work on so far, at least. But that's just like we've only seen like 10 minutes of gameplay, so maybe
that's like one of the things that I'm trying to work on right now is respecting like zones in lanes.
I see.
And I think I just didn't like respect Brand zone. Right.
The idea with poke champions is it's a game between the poker and the AD carry. So not only do you have to dodge everything, and kind of your support too, because he's looking to try and engage on them if they're playing Tariq, Ali, Leona, whatever. Yeah, that's the idea, is that you're always trying to outplay them 1v1, essentially. And it's just a matter of have you played Brand before, or have you played any of these champions before? If you haven't, then it's like hard to imagine what they're gonna do. But if you do play it once or twice, you'll know. Oh, Brand's gonna try and throw his shit here, right? And we have to dodge it. Okay, let's watch what's going on here. So this fight breakout, and then what do we do that? What do you think we could do better here in the first 3 seconds? I guess, if anything,
hold abilities for sure.
Right. So what does our Q do here?
I get a collateral.
Does like 100 damage, right?
Yeah.
How much damage can your Q do potentially?
I think it could do like probably 30% of a person's health bar.
Right, hundreds, right? Because if you have 3 stacks on them, right? So you already know, especially considering how you're like, oh, I've seen a lot of videos on like value and stuff. We don't have any value here, right? This is probably so this is too poor that it's hard for us to do anything, right? Essentially. And then here it's like, oh, I think we want to chase, but chasing is bad, right?
Yeah.
So how do you know if you can chase or not? Let's say you're playing Varus, and this is a Singe instead of a Brand. Can you catch up?
No way.
Okay, so switch. So now it's Brand again. Can you catch up still?
No, I don't think so.
Yeah, I don't think so either, right? So unless you know, without a doubt in your mind, that you can catch up, you don't chase. Chasing is a sin in League of Legends, right? Chasing is like how people ask you, how do you land skill shots? Well, one of the easiest ways to land a skill shot is if they're chasing you, right? And then they can't dodge, right? So if you don't have a way to catch up, what would have happened if they didn't turn? Brand's gonna right click to his fountain. You guys are gonna right click him. You guys are gonna chase him all the way back to his fountain. You're never gonna catch up at any point in the game, right? It's actually impossible, right? So unless you have a think about it this way, unless you have a guaranteed way to catch up, you don't chase, right? That's what happens here, is that we chased. So that's unfortunate.
I used Tarek there.
Yeah, I mean, if you got hit by that, you would probably died, right? So don't worry about that. It was just our earlier issue of over chasing, I think, and not getting enough value out of your abilities, right? Because that's the only thing Varus can do, is get good value out of his abilities. Otherwise, he doesn't do any damage, right? He buys Rage Blade so he can get all these super stacks immediately, right? You actually can kill this guy, but okay, hold on. Why do I say you can kill this guy?
I don't know.
Let's say if you had autoed him and then ultied and then autoed him and then used your E, how much HP would he be at?
Oh, he'd probably be dead, actually.
I would say he'd be about 20%. And then another auto and a Q is dead, right? So this is just a... I mean, you play a lot of Varus, so I hesitate to say knowing your champion, but this is you know, why you pick this champion, right? It's because you can get your Rage Blade going, and then you get all your stacks off, right? You proc all your stacks, right? So in terms of knowing your damage, this is just one of those. Think about how much value you can get. Actually, I don't think this is like, it's kind of relevant, but I think this is just like I don't really know how to explain this. It's like
I mean, I feel like I'm just not playing aggressive enough.
Right, you have to know if you can kill someone or not, right? So let's Varus replay Korea, okay? And then we just like look at these, doesn't matter which one it is. And then if you kill someone at any time, it's because he has Rage Blade, right? So let's fast forward. Please show me a Rage Blade. Please. Okay, we have Rage Blade. He has 5 kills. Oh no, okay. Let's see if we can get 6 kills. Where are you at? Or does he do damage? Anywhere where he does damage is good. So we can watch. I hope he does damage here.
Whoa.
Not like this. That Q doesn't do anything. I don't know how he did that. Okay, hold on. There has to be an example here. It's like, how many... Do you watch other people play Varus?
No.
That might be something you could take a look at too. Okay, here we go. He does damage here for sure. All right, so when you're looking at someone else play Varus, that's one of the things. That's like one of the ways of figuring out what a champion can do, right? So if you take a look at this example, right? Varus does a disgusting amount of damage when he weaves auto attacks and abilities, right? So look at this full HP Sejuani, right? So as long as he gets maximum ability value, he just kills this guy, right? Just 2 abilities, right? And then on this Xayah too, he's about to kill her, right? Look at this, right? So as long as you get, think about it this way: if you can get 3 stacks with every ability, you always win. Okay, that's what I want you to think, because the game is balanced in such a way that the person who gets more value wins, right? So against this Jhin, the Jhin is always going to lose all in against Varus, right? So if we know that kind of scenario, then we'd be able to say, think to ourselves, if we hit him 2 times or 3 times, or probably just 2 times, use an ulti, hit him once, use an E, he's dead, right? I'm not sure how to teach someone that without showing them what Varus can do, right? Because if you knew that, you would just kill this guy, right? That's just like a thing with Rage Blade, right? Even Kog'Maw, like, have you seen Kog'Maw go ham with Lulu, right? Oh yeah. And they just like instantly kill someone. That's what Varus can do, that, right? So it's the same concept, right? Rage Blade stacks. Varus can actually do it faster than Kog'Maw for the first like 2 seconds, right? Because he can proc all those abilities immediately. So I think this is just an issue of knowing your damage on Varus, right? Think about it this way. Okay, this is what I want you to think. You need to get good value. Basically, you need to break stacks with your abilities. Otherwise, you shouldn't use your abilities. That's what I want you to think. That's an iron rule. It's true that sometimes you can use your E without getting auto attacks first, but for now, we're gonna say never do that. Okay, only use your abilities when you have auto attacks first. When you're fighting, you think to yourself, Varus will always win as long as he gets his stacks in, right? So if you're fighting this Jhin, what I say you're fighting this Jhin again, like tomorrow or later today, you'd be thinking to yourself, if we're fighting 1v1, you always win. Always. You just auto attack, you ulti, auto attack E, auto attack Q. That's a win every time. 100 times out of 100. As long as it's a 1v1, right? 100 times out of 100, you will always win that, okay? That's what I want you to think. Varus wins all in over everyone else.
So like, let's say if I'm playing Varus and the opposing AD carry I'm having a 1v1 with is ahead by like half an item, could I still win that? Or
you still win, because Rage Blade is insane mid game, right? If you're a Rage Blade against his like BF static, you will win 100 times. 100 times out of 100, right? That's the idea. Look at this damage you do. Oh my god, look at that. Okay, look how much. Okay, how much damage did your team do, and how much damage did you do?
God,
they didn't do anything. They did 0 damage. That was literally all you. So if we put that in perspective to the fight that you were just having under tower, you just didn't know if you could win 1v1, but you know this is 3v1, so obviously you went here. This is just like you just killed him, right? And you didn't even have your Q, right? So that's how powerful Rage Blade can be with Varus. This is just a think to yourself, Varus is the best all-in champion for AD carry right now, right? That's what I want you to think. As long as you land everything, you always win, okay? That's what I want you to think. In 1v1, 2v2, whatever, however many people there are, if you can hit someone and proc your stacks, you always win, okay? That's what I want you to think. But the key thing here is procking your stacks, right? So if you had just thrown all your abilities at that Jhin and then walked away, so we're at 18, right? If you had just thrown your abilities like we saw, let's see, where is it? Like here, we don't do any damage if we just use abilities, right? So in this case, we have, let's see, 0 auto attacks, right? So you don't do anything. You landed 2 abilities, but you didn't take any autos. So the idea is that you do damage by proccing as many stacks as possible. That's what I want you to think, okay? And you have the best damage in the game. That's why people pick Varus, right? One of the reasons why people pick Varus is his mid game is oppressive with the Rage Blade, right? If you have Rage Blade going, you always win. I think you already know. Don't use your E, don't use your Q like that. You would have killed him here, right? If you don't use your Q like that, look how much damage your E does. and you didn't have Rage Blade going, right? So that's the idea. That's what I want you to think. And it's like, flash frame. The reason why we ended up having the flash frame is because we used our Q like that, right? So this kind of mistake afterwards is less important, I would say. You want to look at what happened first, right? So the main points I'm looking at are champion specific, really. In terms of like what you're supposed to do, okay, besides laning, it was like don't get hit by poke. But in terms of where you're supposed to be, I think staying bot is fine, right? Helping this dragon fight. Wait, helping this dragon fight. Let me see this. Yeah, helping this dragon fight is fine too, right? Should be okay. Should be okay. As long, if we had gotten our value in here, we would just killed him and walked away, right? So everything is fine decision making wise. I think it's the mechanics portion of it that's limiting us, I think, in a way. What is the only ability you don't have to use? What is the only ability you don't necessarily have to have auto attacks in before you use it to get good value? Wow, that was a convoluted question.
The ulti?
Yeah, that was the obvious answer, but convoluted question. Right? It's your ulti, because your ulti can get good value if you can just kill someone with it, right? So this is a fine ulti, in my opinion. You can, that's really good, right? That's the only one you don't need to, but know that you still can to get even more value, right?
Yeah.
Most of the time you don't have to though. As long as you're just landing your E and your Q after between auto attacks, right? Okay, what's going on here? I guess you're just afraid of Akali, right?
Yeah.
Sure, that's fine. You cover mid. I think I agree with this, right? Here's a question. If Akali shows up and you're 1v1ing her, who wins?
Honestly, I feel like she does.
You win if you can proc your stacks, right? Think about this. Varus always wins. If you can get stacks. If you can get stacks and you proc them, you always win. Always, always, right? Like, why are we maxing W? So we can get more stack damage, right? That's the reason why we pick Rage Blade Varus. That's probably one of the only reasons why Varus is viable, is because we can build Rage Blade, right? So if you don't, every time you don't proc stacks with an ability, you're giving up a reason to pick this champion, right? So anytime we do something like this, is the reason why we shouldn't pick it. And then this, oh no, it missed, but it was gonna do a lot of damage, right? Oh, actually, I think it did hit her. Look how much HP she has. Oh, you're just gonna kill this guy with Rage Blade. You don't even need an ability. Like that's how absurdly strong that Varus is. Is that if your Rage Blade is going, you should think to yourself, you can kill anyone. Okay, that's what I want you to think. You can kill anyone and everyone. So the real issue what's going on? I think we took an extra hit. It's kind of awkward. Oh, you guys don't want this fight, right? I don't know why we're still here. Oh, we're all dying here. You can still win, maybe. Oh my god.
Oh, so close.
Nice try. We can talk about this too, though. Let's see what's going on here. So you're defending this. Sure, there were some mechanical errors, but this is a 4v4, I think. Dude, I don't think you guys want to defend this.
Yeah, I really don't want to.
That's fine. But if you had gotten, the thing is with these fights is that sure it may not look great, but the way the players at your rank play is the same way you do, right? Which makes sense, right? Is that they'll do poor value plays, right? What is this? You see this? She Q'd Taric. How does she kill ADC now? How does she kill you?
She'd have to probably jump in at me.
She can't. She doesn't have a Q, right? The Q is all her damage. Q is the reason why Akali can kill people, right? Is do a million damage. But she just casually used it on this support with full HP, right? So it doesn't make sense, right? So as long as you can prevent yourself from doing something like that, you'll win these fights, right? Regardless of how good or bad they start out, right? Look at this. She doesn't even do any damage because she keeps queuing Taric or something. I don't know what's going on, right? It's just 0 out of 10 from that Akali. And then this guy gets caught. I think this is okay. I think we'll also throw in a caveat for chasing here, right? Again, you cannot chase someone unless you know how you're gonna catch up. So if they right click their fountain and you right click them, when do you catch up?
Maybe once I'm in the fountain.
Yeah, I would say not even then, right? You don't catch up, right? Okay. Out of these guys, you're gonna die to the tower before you guys even get to the fountain, right? So the idea here is just don't chase, right? Don't chase, right? You guys need to leave. And then it's like, oh, we need to leave, right? Yeah, just don't chase, right?
Yeah.
I'm not sure what else to say besides this. Okay, so let's say we didn't chase. What should you do instead?
Ward, back, get items, and then start pushing again.
Okay. Other options I would offer would be something like do Krugs or wait and let them push into you so you can clear, or go mid, right? Anything like that. You probably don't want to go mid because Lux is going mid, but anything that doesn't involve fighting, right? When do you want to fight?
When we're trying to take an objective.
When you win.
Or get a pick.
When you know you're gonna win. That's the only time you want to fight, is when you know you're getting something out of it, right? So anytime there's random fighting, it's kind of a mistake, right? And then all this is just, I have no idea what's going on. It doesn't matter to us. Go mid, sure, push. I think rapid fire is fine. Whatever. You can kill this guy. Oh no.
Jeez. Oh man.
Oh no. So yeah, I think the idea is think to yourself when you're playing this champion. Okay, you need to work on the mechanics of this. The idea is that you will always win if your Rage Blade is on and you land all your abilities. Okay, that's what I want you to think. You can even 1v2. That's why Rage Blade is so good, right? Is that you can even 1v2. So all you have to do is, how would you do this instead? If you know that now, how would you make this?
I would definitely just start autoing her, and then try to kite back. Once I get 3 stacks, throw my R, and then go from there.
Right. So I would say, more specifically, the way I would do it is you hit her and force her to use her W, right? And then you flash, and then she chases you. You ulti. She doesn't chase you. You wait outside the shroud, and then you ulti when she runs, something like that. And then you just auto attack and throw your abilities, right? Basically, there's no way you should lose this if you're hitting her, right? You always win. You always win. Think about it this way. You always win as Varus. As long as you land all your auto attacks and abilities, right? You're gonna win. As long as you proc 3 stacks every time. That's what I want you to think, right? That's the kind of issue that's going on here, is that we are in good spots a lot of the time, but poor usage of abilities and over chasing is kind of what's preventing us from having more money than we should, right? Being more useful than we should.
Yeah.
So here, I don't know what's going on. Nice dodge. This is perfect, right? So how come we couldn't do this with Brand? You already know the idea, clearly, right? So
yeah.
I think if you just warded the bush, that would you would be a-okay, right? Same thing with this Q. Okay, maybe you can make an argument for breaking her Banshees, but honestly, I would still save your Q, right? Your Q is so useful for breaking stacks that it's just, look at the cooldown on this thing, right?
Yeah.
15 seconds. So just don't use it. We're just gonna keep that as an iron rule, okay? No using E or Q unless you break at least 1 stack, right? Okay. That's for trading. And for all-ins, you want to get as many stacks as possible, right? So 3 stacks each. That's a hard rule. So anytime you use an ability and it doesn't do that, we'll call that a mistake, okay? You go back in your replay, and if you lose fights, you watch that and ask yourself, is that why? Oh, what's going on here? Okay. Almost got the turret ulti off. Oh no, everyone's got to run now. Oh yeah, everyone's got to run now. Okay, wasn't the worst. Let's take a look at what happened here. So what happened here?
I got hit by Lee Sin.
What's the bigger issue, do you think?
I think my positioning.
Right, and why are we positioned in this way, I guess?
What do you mean?
Let's say, why are we moving up with the wave? That's a better question.
Because I want to hit the tower.
Alright, so if you hit the tower, how do you stop an insec?
Flash?
You don't have flash though, right?
Yeah.
And he can beat the flash by doing R flash. So you can't flash in time. You can ward hop R flash, right? So is it possible to hit the tower? Is what I'm getting at. Right. How do you dodge Brand W? So Brand W's the minions, you have to dodge his W and then all the minions die. So then how many hits did you get off the tower?
Like 0.
Exactly. So is there anything to be gained from sieging? That's the question. That's the real question we're getting at, is what do we hope to gain from sieging?
Yeah. I mean, yeah. You want an advantage from sieging, but
Well, what can we get? What can we get? It's not nothing here, technically. But if you don't know what it is, that's the reason why we die here. Is because we try and hit the tower, right? We try and walk up and do something. But what can we do? You know, what if this team wants to siege? Why is that? Why would I say that?
because we can dive.
I don't think it's easy to dive, right? Something that's a dive comp would be like very clean, Malphite Zac, that kind of scenario, right? But we don't really have it. Taric is not an obvious dive, and Sojourner is like medium level, right? So what kind of champions do we have here that makes us want to siege?
Lux.
Yes, right, Lux. So if you're sieging, then what's the goal? Is it to hit the tower, or what are we trying to do?
Would be hit Jhin or Brand, I guess.
Who's hitting Jhin or Brand?
Lux.
Right. So if we want to siege this, then we're just waiting for Lux to hit shit. Right. That's the idea. Or you can ulti someone so that Lux can hit them for free. Right. That's the idea. So the real issue here isn't that we got hit by XYZ skill shot and we couldn't dodge, or you know, positioning was poor. It was we didn't know what we wanted coming up into this tower. Right. So usually speaking, I recommend not sieging ever in solo queue. You only hit towers when it's like PvE, and the reason being is because something random will happen. Like say for example, Lux wanted to siege, but her AD carry didn't know what's going on and got caught, right? So that's the reason why we don't really want to necessarily siege unless it's super obvious, right? So if you wanted to walk up like this, the idea would be I'm going to ult someone for Lux to hit, or we're gonna try and let Lux hit a bind, and that's it. That's the only thing we're going for, right? So let's say we didn't want to siege, because sieging is usually bad. Unless they all die, right? What can we do instead?
Get vision, farm the jungle.
You can't get vision because you have no word, right? So, and you already have vision topside, pretty much. Okay, here's a better question. What's the job of the AD carry in the early mid game?
Just output damage.
So let's say you're playing AD carry and you're facing off against a Shaco jungle. Who outputs more damage in the early game? Who's more useful? The Shaco jungle level 3 with red buff, or yeah, exactly, right? So what is our goal? Well, basically our goal is to get money, right? So we can be useful, right? Our job isn't to do damage, it's to make them scared that we're gonna hit them, right? And they're not scared if we have no money, right? So your only priority is to find places where you can get money, and if the only thing that should supersede that is if your team is fighting and you can help the fight, right? Because winning a team fight is the same as getting money, and definitely helps your team, right? So thinking about those lines of thoughts, where should we go on the map?
Top side.
Right, I agree. You want to go top, and the reason being is you want your own lane to yourself, right? So let's say your job is to make money, mid lane's job is to make money, top lane's job is to make money. In a way, how do they make money if they're in the same lane, right?
Yeah.
So that's another reason why we don't want to ARAM here. So whenever people ask, hey, how come in Challenger, Elo, or even Diamond, people don't ARAM mid? This is why, is because if the enemy AD carry, if Jhin is here, right, and you're top, and you get this 1,000 gold, or however much that is, probably like 500, and Jhin gets nothing, then who's winning? Which team is winning?
Right.
Right. You guys are winning because you guys are making all this bank. You guys are making all this bank, and they're making half of what they should be, right? So that's kind of the idea. Is if you want to siege, ask yourself why, right? And what's my role in the siege? So in this case, it'd be we want Lux to throw shit at them, and my job is to either peel for her or catch someone. But I'm gonna tell you, just don't siege ever, okay? In solo queue, this is more of a trap than it is good, right? How many times have you seen a team try and hit the tower and they all die to like someone engaged, right? Every game, especially in the lower ranks, right? Is someone will try and hit the tower and then everyone dies, right? So don't do it, right? The better option is to make money, right? To ask yourself, where can I go to guarantee money for myself, right? That's what you want to do. And then once you have that money, then it's down to the mechanics part that we're talking about, is making sure you output the damage you should be doing if they walk up to you, right? If you can hit someone for free, you should be trying to do max amount of damage, right? So this guy, you're not gonna kill them because you can't get stacks off, right? Is the issue here. So I don't know why they're pinging you, but you mute that. I don't know what they're smoking, whatever. The main problem was, oh my god, you guys actually lost inhibitor because of that. Look at this. Oh my lord. Not like this. Right, so just never siege, right? Don't chase, don't siege. We're just gonna throw out these rules here. So see if you can follow these to a T. If you can, I think your gameplay will be much better, right? Don't chase, don't siege. Go to the place where you get your own lane so you can generate your own money, right? For Varus, make sure you're breaking stacks with your abilities. But if you can't break stacks, don't use your abilities, right? Except for your ulti. Your ulti is the exception, right? Like for example, in this case, you still want to push bot, right? You always want to push out to. Okay, hold on. What's going on? You always want to push out past the river if possible, right? Why would I say that?
It gives you like vision in a way.
Okay, that's true. It applies pressure so that they have to go pick up the minions, otherwise they die to the tower, right? Another important reason is that if you push past the river, it's gonna come back to you, and you will miss no money, right? And the only exception is when they freeze. So if they freeze, then you guys do something on the other side of the map, and it's a 5v4, so you guys win, right? So they're not gonna freeze. Basically, think about it this way: if you push it past the river, you will lose 0 money, right? As opposed to, what I mean by like lose 0 money is, let's say, do you see bot lane right now? Can you see that on the minimap? So you see how all their minions are going to kill your minions? Yeah. We'll consider that the enemy team is losing money. They lost 6 minions, right? Quote unquote. That's what we're trying to prevent. And you prevent that by pushing it past the river. Yeah, let's watch this fight. What's going on here? You have a nice ulti on the Akali. Wow, looks really clean. Very good. Okay, hold up. Let's see. Could our I think our E was fine, right? Why do I say our E was good?
Because it broke the stacks.
How many stacks did it break?
I think like 3 of them.
Agreed. So it's the best possible case, right? Almost best possible value. How else could you have squeezed more value out of your E?
I don't know.
2 ways. If I told you could break 4 stacks with the E, would you have known? Yeah. Then that's one way. And the other is auto cancel, right? Is if you auto attacked and then tossed your E, you could have gotten more value. But either way, that's all you need is just break stacks, right? You don't need to do any of that fancy stuff. This is fine. This is 100% good. If you do this every time, you win every fight. Okay. As long as it's not 4v5 or chasing or anything like that, you'll win every standard fight. Is what I'll say. That's all you need to do. So what's going on here? I think we're diving or something. I don't know what's going on, but it's good that we're not trying to. Okay, kill this Lee Sin. Very good. How about this Q? Let's see how much damage this Q did. Right, it's really good. I saw that it broke 2 or 3 stacks. Right. Let's see this. How fast did this guy die?
Like instantly.
Yeah, dude, you killed his ass. Beyond the first Lux piece of damage, that was all you. Right. She didn't even get to pop her E, right? So that's how much damage Varus does. So if you ever find yourself in a situation where you're hitting someone, you're winning the game. Is kind of how you should think of it. Wait, so I think this fight is good, right? The only reason why it looks like it wasn't great is because all the earlier stuff before, right? Is all the fights we lost earlier. But overall, pretty good, right? You have enough money to carry this game, I think. Let's see what's going on here. Think it was a not bad ulti because you could auto attack him. Sure. Couldn't get the steal. That's awkward. Whatever. Nice try. Oh, okay. What are we doing here that we shouldn't do?
Chasing. Right.
So I don't know what your team is doing, but unless they have a way of catching up for XYZ reason, you don't chase. Is there a way to catch up? So drawing your ulti down, right? There's literally nothing, right? So that's how we know from here, you guys can't get anyone, right? So, yeah, this is pretty much, you know, how do we not waste time / how do we, this could be a potentially fatal mistake, right? There's basically, the way you think about it is this chase can only end in 2 ways. Either you get nothing or you guys die. And one is bad enough and one is super bad, right? So that's kind of how you know. That's also the reason why you know if you have more people you want to fight, is because it only ends in 2 ways. You guys either go even or you're gonna kill everyone, right? Even or good is what we're looking for, and even or bad is definitely something we want to avoid, right? Okay, what's going on here? Basically, they're just gonna try and hit your tower. Sure. This is just team fights now. Ulti someone, sure. Auto attack this guy. This is free. Maybe don't charge your arrow, but look at that. Look at all that damage you did to him. It's basically, if you play like that the whole game, it would have been a different. You would have won the other fights, I think, a lot better, right? You could have even gotten more value off. How do you get more value off the Nasus?
Just auto him first
before using your ulti, right? So the reason why I bring it up is because getting good value off ulting a tank is different from getting good value off ulting a backline, right? Because with a backline, you don't need to damage them. Your team's just gonna finish them off. With the tank, you need to do maximum amount of damage, right? So in this case, you want to get more autos off, but I think that's still fine, right? Even with that, it's still good. What's going on here? Oh boy. Oh, you kill this guy. Look at that. It's a Kali and you still kill her ass, right? What other AD carry can do this? Pretty much none, right? That's how strong you are as Varus. Too bad that you die here. Honestly, I think that there's not much to say except I think this fight you played fine, right? So I think the team fighting aspect is only true when you say you need to work on team fighting. That's only true up to the point of making sure you get good value off your abilities, because that's the only reason why you lose some of these fights. And the other fights you lose is because you guys chase or you tried to siege a tower, right? So those are the 2 things, 2 hard rules, right? Don't siege, right? What else do you do besides sieging? What do we talk about?
Don't use your E or your Q unless you're breaking stacks.
Well, I mean, like, instead of sieging, what should you do?
Oh, instead of sieging?
Remember how we talked about what an AD carry should be doing early mid game?
Making as much money as possible.
Yes, you are making money. That's all you want to do, is make money, so that you can be useful later, right? And then for the abilities part, right? You already know. You just said it, right? Is don't use your abilities without getting auto attacks first, right? Like in this case, right? This would be a very good example, right, of what we just talked about. Honestly, I think laning is less important the lower rank it is, but I think it's still somewhat relevant because it helps you practice mechanics for sure, right? Well, as you was trying to throw shit, right? Like, look, this is a good example of the brand thing we were talking about, right? What Swain was doing was, he gave Ezreal an opportunity to throw a Q, and then the instant Ezreal does something like some kind of animation, he just moves back, right? That's the same concept. So I think you know that already. Just make sure you wear the bush if you're playing against poke support, right? Okay. Wow. So like, how good was this one? Let's talk about this in terms of negative value, 0 value, or positive value. What would you say this was?
Very positive.
I'll say that's the best thing possible, right? Pretty much the best, almost the best possible. You physically could not get more out of that unless you had like another auto or something. So that's what you want to go for. So it shows that you can do it. It's just that you have to do it every time. Like, think about it this way, is that every time you don't do it, you cannot do anything until that ability is back up, right? That's what you should be thinking, is that you can't actually fight, farm, ward, whatever, because your ability is down. Okay, that's what I want you to think. But if you have good value, you can you will always win against these guys who are just like randomly throwing their abilities around, right? Wow, this guy's gonna die. You already know what happened here, right? Same thing. It's always the same thing. So I think that if you can get that part sorted out, and the what's it called? What's going on here? Oh no. Right, if you can get the mechanics part down, then you can start looking at the rotations part, right? Because I think we're losing fights we shouldn't. Like, basically what happens is you'll find yourself in a good fight, but it turns bad because of the way we use our spells, right? So I think we need to fix that first over the other stuff. The second priority I think would be the mid game, right? Just think to yourself, where can you go to make money, and don't siege, right? Unless the only times you do objectives is when people are dead, right? Or it's like PVE, right? Think to yourself, you're playing World of Warcraft, you're just farming mobs because they can't stop you, right? That's when you should be hitting towers and stuff. Don't try to hit towers. That's always a noob trap, right? If you watch your deaths on Playstyle TV, that's like a big reason of why you might be dying, right? It's because either we're chasing or we're trying to hit a tower, right? Those three things I think are the big three I think in your gameplay. So this is really good, right? Hold up, let's watch this. Beyond this first Q, I would say honestly the Q wasn't even that bad because what is it? It was charged up fully and is still early in the game. But normally you don't want to use it like that, right? We'll still keep it an iron rule, okay? Iron rule is that don't use these abilities unless you have auto attacks in first, okay? Oh my god, so close! You would have killed his ass. You could have even killed Soraka. Yeah, this is the right idea. This is the right idea, right? Auto attack first before using abilities, and you will be okay. That's the only time you should be using abilities besides your ulti, right? I think your ultis are pretty good actually. What do you think? Besides that one time that Callie ran at you and you missed by like an inch.
God, that was embarrassing.
Right. I think most of the time it's pretty good, right?
Yeah.
So I wouldn't worry about that. It's just
Except
you're eating your
the thing
Q
about
usage.
the tank with Nasus, like I didn't really
Even then
that before.
it was fine, right? Even then it was fine. But yeah, it would be better to get more autos in, right? Guys, if you remember that fight, you guys still did good in that fight, right? You couldn't have done any better in that fight. So I wouldn't worry. That's like a aspect of using ult I wouldn't worry about yet, right?
Okay.
Because a lot of these solo queue games won't even have tanks, right? So this is good. This landing phase is good. All right, this is really good compared to last game for sure. And I think it's because it was just like, poke is kind of hard to deal with sometimes, right? I wouldn't worry about that too much. Okay, very good ulti. Oh my. Okay, the only reason why you also don't worry about stuff like this, because how often have you played with Swain?
Played with Swain?
Yeah.
Never. This was
right. Yes. Yeah. Exactly. Right. So he's too new. So if something like this happens, don't worry about that too much. Right. Unless you see Swain in your game, like all the time, then you should know you should hold on to it. But I wouldn't worry about missing something like that. Right. It's only when we do something strange like the other times. Right. The other times is when you want to worry about that. Oh, you don't have any abilities up, so this is dicey. Oh, okay. Whew. Okay. Trade kill is okay, I think. I probably don't want to do that. I think it was risky. But yeah, think about it this way. You just don't do ability. You don't do damage without abilities. Okay. So I think going for the kill there is fine. Whatever. That's not going to hurt you overall, I think. Let's see. Let's keep watching. Sure. You just kill this guy. Sure. I think the only reason this E is good is because you got the ulti first. So you got some stacks, right? 2 stacks, I think. Nice. Let's see. Base, go top. Wow, what's going on top? Holy shit. What is going on top? Top is a nightmare, apparently.
Yeah.
Same thing here, right? Same thing here. So what can we do instead of trying to hit Udyr?
Get money.
Well, let's say these minions don't exist, okay? And you're not sure if you can hit Udyr with this E. What do you do?
Just keep autoing him.
Right. Don't use it. Don't use it is the big one, right? Because missing is the worst case scenario, right? So you want to avoid that at all costs. If you can hold on to it, that means that you can use it in the future, right? But if you use it too early and you miss, I mean, it cuts off any possibility of you being able to do something, right? Wow. I don't know how top is super dunzo, but whatever. Nice ulti, right? I think you have no issues with ulti. What is going on? Okay, your whole team is coming, so you guys are gonna win this, right? You just fast forward, whatever. Let's just watch you use your abilities. 3 stacks, right? Very good. You're dying to Heimerdinger. Holy shit.
Oh boy.
Okay. I also wouldn't worry about that. Even though that is pretty tilting. It's still the main concept. Oh, okay. Yeah, I think we're also missing E here because like so much flipping and shit is going on. Maybe hold on to it. Okay, so this is the idea: is that if you cannot find a good use for your Q and your E, you just don't use it. That's the borderline. That's the bottom line. Is that the only time you should be using it is when you're blowing stacks, when you're burning stacks. Every time, think about it this way: every time you miss is you're only useful as a cannon minion. Right. Okay. Imagine Ezreal without abilities. How useful is that? Right.
Yeah.
It's fucking useless. Right. That's the same idea with Varus. You're useless if you don't land it. If you don't land your abilities with good value. Right. That's what I want you to think. Honestly, it looks like this game is unfortunate. So something like this is not your fault. Right. In terms of the mistakes we made, sure we died twice, but I think someone was like inting or something this game, and your whole top side got demolished. So I would not worry about a game like this. Ooh, excuse me. All right, let's check out this real quick and see if our kind of analysis makes sense still. Do you have any questions, by the way? What do you think? Oh shit, it's another brand.
I mean, I like to play like 380 carries at most.
Right.
And I like to like play different types of 80 carries. Should I just stick with a specific like style of 80 carry for all three?
The short answer is yes, right? And the reason being is because you need to if you keep switching styles, like it's basically too hard to keep track of unless you play this game a lot, like 10 games a day or something like that, right?
Right.
And it's like, okay, let's put this in perspective. So let's say, what's another 80 carry do you play? Like Jinx, right?
Yeah.
How different is Jinx from Varus in terms of value and mechanics? And yeah, exactly, right? It's like, what are you supposed to do, right? So if you don't like stick to one, you're going to see mistakes in both, if that makes any sense. Unless you've mastered both, then you'll be like, oh, I can play both. But like say for example, getting good value with Jinx abilities is different from Varus. Right. And the mechanics are different as well. Right. You don't have to deal with Jinx's passive when you're playing Varus, and you don't have to deal with landing ultis on backline when you're playing Jinx. Right. Well, maybe sometimes you do, but it's different. Right. It's not CC based. Stuff like that. Right. So I would say I would always recommend sticking to less is better. Basically. Right. Less is always better. Until you think, unless you think that's boring and it's not fun or something like that, then it's like, okay, sure, play something else. But I would suggest like the fewer the better, right? Like for me, for example, I'm playing Jhin, Caitlyn, and maybe Ezreal, right? That's like 3 champions. And anything more than that, I'll probably not do well on unless I play like 10 games of that champion, right? Because I haven't figured it out recently, right? It's not the mechanics don't come easily. Right, unless you played the champion a bunch of times. So that's what I would say. Less is better. This is really good. You're pushing him in. I also see that you do not have any problems with this brand, right? So maybe that game was just a one-off thing. Look at this. Look at this, right? So if you can see him, I assume you can dodge. So if there's just a poke champion in this bush, just ward it. Is what I think.
Okay.
Don't worry about that. That first game's laning phase, I think these last 2 games have shown that your laning phase is pretty good, right? Just make sure that you're not wasting abilities is the big one, right?
Yeah.
Let's see. Sure. Fast forward. Right, like this, for example, right? What can we do instead of using Q?
Just auto it.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what I'm thinking, right? Just walk up and auto, right? Let me show you an example of, honestly, any of these are fine. Let's go back to this, right? When I'm pushing this wave, how often do I use Q? Right. Actually, this is PvE, so it probably makes less sense. Let's see. Right. Okay, here's a good example, right? We're not using Q to push or anything like that, right? The reason being is that if we do, we can't fight anymore, right? The value is not good enough, right? See, we only use it to hit them. Like, say if we use the Q on the minions and he walked up, there's no punish.
Yeah.
But since we have it, we can punish immediately, right? So that's like a very instant gratification kind of example where you want to good value would be like executing or hitting them, right? Bouncing a minion onto them or hitting them with it, right? That would be good value. And then if you really have to get it, then yeah, sure. But Jin's Q is less important than Varus's abilities, right? Which is also another idea because Varus Jin can kind of force shot, but Varus doesn't have anything like that, right? Okay, so what's going on here? Let's watch this. So a little spat is going on. So what would you say about this fight? What could we have done better?
I feel like I could have killed Brand there if I used my abilities better.
So this is the idea of when playing Varus, what is a good trade? Is auto attack, is using just your E a good trade?
No.
Is auto attacking and then throwing an E a good trade?
Yeah.
I would agree. That's a good trade. You'll out trade everyone. Okay, so if it's an all in, is auto attack E a good all in?
Nah.
So how do you know if a fight's gonna be all in or not?
If you can't run away.
Okay, that's a good one. How about if you don't know, don't use it. Right? If you don't know, you should save it because the instant you use it for a good trade and it turns into an all-in, you've already used your E. You can't. There's no regret. You can't get it back, right? Also, not having Q actually hurts us here too, right?
So if I don't know whether or not a trade is gonna turn into an all-in, I should just hold it.
Yes, and then you know when it's not going to turn into an all-in when they start running away or when parties start separating, right? When there's no longer a chance of anyone hitting anyone. When someone gets stunned, there's a good chance it's going to turn into an all-in, or someone gets caught, right? Yeah. Someone's low HP, anything like that. So here, in this case, it looks like Brand's walking up for this. So in this case, you don't even... it's not necessarily a quick trade. You can even run him down, throw an E, and then back off, like a really big trade, right? But basically, it's always better to hold it for better value, right? I think that's the thing we should... I think that's the thing I want you to work on. Biggest thing is hold on to your abilities for the biggest, fattest value you can imagine, okay? That's what I want you to think. And if you end up not using your ability, that's better than using it and wasting it, okay? I would rather not have you not use it. Right, I would rather have you not use it. Now let me see if I can find the other example from the other day when I was playing Tristana. Let's see, rewind down here. Tristana. Oh, that's not it. Excuse me, Plays TV. There's an example somewhere where I hold on to my E because I wasn't sure. Let's see, one of these here. Okay, here it is. Okay, so. What is good value for Tristana Bomb?
If you can get a jump reset.
This is true, but let's just talk about damage.
Just damage wise? I mean, as long as you can pump out as many charges without getting hit.
So max amount of stacks, right? Would be the big one. Let's say, for example, hold up. Is it this fight? Okay, this fight. Let's say, for example, you can hit a tank with max stacks versus a backline. Which is better?
Backline.
So if you have the opportunity to use it on a front line, does that necessarily mean you want to use it on them?
No.
Right, because it eliminates the opportunity to get better value, right? So you want juicy fat value in solo queue especially, right? So in this case, I'm not using my E at all. Right, because I'm not sure if I can get good value, right? And you just save it until you know for sure, right? So let's see if we get rewarded for this, right? And then it's like, oh, still can't find a reason to use our E. Better to not use it than use it every time, okay? And this is the reason why, the thing you're about to see, right? Here, it's very obvious we can kill him for me, right?
Yeah.
So that's
chasing you.
Exactly. So that's how we can abuse getting good value in solo queue, right? Because even though our whole team died, we can still find something as long as we didn't waste our abilities, right? This is the only impact you can have on the game. Is this your character? So you have to make sure everything you do is very good, right? Like very high value, right? Otherwise, you have no impact on the game, right? So the way to guarantee impact or guaranteed a way for you to carry is to only get good value, right? Even if you're super fed, if you don't break your stacks with your abilities, you're still gonna lose, right? That's the way the game works. Holy shit, this Fiddle ultimate though, disgusting, right? Even in this case, the reason why only one stack in your E is good is why?
Because it's keeping him there.
He's gonna die whether he stays there or not, right?
Mm-hmm.
So how do you know it's good value? Although I would still tell you to not use it unless you know for sure, right? If you can't explain it, don't use it unless you get maximum value. So how do you know that this is good? Just one auto attack is good.
I don't know.
Let's see. How fast is he dying?
Pretty fast.
Right. He's gonna fuck you. All you have to do is just touch him, and Fiddle's like gonna finish it, right? So this is kind of more like a caveat to the value idea is that you needed less. You didn't have to get max value there because he was dying super fast, right? You didn't have to. But here's the trick: is that if you didn't know and he lives by a margin because we didn't get extra autos in, that's our mistake, right? So that's why we always say get maximum value because you can't go wrong. You can't go wrong by holding. Like if you held on to your E, could anything bad have happened?
No.
Right. So there's no downside to getting more value, and so especially at the lower ranks, there's no downside, right? There's no punish. Maybe in the super high ranks there could be a punish, but never in these ranks are there a punish for waiting on your abilities. Okay, I promise.
Yeah.
Always wait until you are 100% sure it's good value, right? Okay, let's watch this. Nice ulti, and then your E got 2 stacks, right? Even 3 maybe. Let me see. Yeah, your E got a bunch of stacks, right? So that was really good because your ulti gave a bunch of stacks, right? That's what I want you to think is you cannot use your abilities without getting good value. And then the mid game part, right? So these are 2 parts: mechanics and macro. You can work on both of these at the same time, I would say. The second part is in the mid game, go to a lane where you can farm, and don't hit the tower. Right, so let's say for example, you pushed out your lane and you can hit the tower, but you don't know where they are. You just wait in a bush or wait at your tower. Do a camp, do something that's not hitting their tower, right? You have to the reason being is because if you hit their tower and it's a mistake, the punish is super big, right? You're gonna die, you're gonna lose dragon, or you're gonna die and lose rift herald, right? Anything like that. Look at that. Oh, this Q is disgusting. Right? There's 3 stacks on him, right? That's why it does however much this is instead of just like 50 damage, right? Very nice, good. So it's like we know you can do it. It's just now you have to be conscious of always doing it. Always only, right? Anytime you don't do it, you consider it a mistake, right?
I have a question.
Yeah.
It might sound like kind of a stupid question, but like, how do you be more consistent with whatever it is that you're trying to do?
So consistency comes with only doing that which you know is good, right? So a big part of building consistency is you start with basically it comes off the idea of you already know what's good and bad, right? So how much have you played this game?
Maybe been like a year.
Okay,
years.
So I think there's still maybe some things you haven't seen, but for the most part, you've seen pretty much everything, right? You've seen someone get binded by Morgana, they die. You've seen Fiddle ulti someone, they're gonna die. You've seen Nidalee flash Q someone, right? For an execute, right? You've seen all that, right?
Yeah.
So nothing should really surprise you. So when you get down to that idea, you tell yourself, we only do the things we know are good, right? And then all of a sudden you're consistently good. Sure, we're missing opportunities to do other stuff, but you don't expand on your the first step is making sure you don't do anything bad, right? So you close off all the bad stuff, and then once you have some foundation of good, you build upon it, right? You're like, oh, maybe we can hit this tower for this reason. So now you start adding in hitting the tower only when you have flash and full HP and you know where the jungler is, right? Then you start that, then you know that's only good. That can only be good. So now you've added that one piece, then you keep going with different areas of the game, right? So that's how this is what we're doing, is building consistency on your mechanics, right? Making sure that anytime you use an ability, it's good, right? And the way we hammer it in is we give you the rule that you cannot use your abilities unless you're breaking stacks. So if we can do that, then you'll never lose a fight because of you didn't break enough stacks, right? And then from there, we can go from there. Basically closing out the bad possibility of you use an ability and it didn't do anything, and then you guys lose because you didn't have it, right? That's what we're eliminating right now. We're kind of doing we're kind of killing two birds with one stone, hopefully, is making sure that you only get good value and making sure that we don't get bad value, right? So you're really good at like dodging stuff and landing ults, right? So it's really just using your E and your Q. And I think this is you're just missing your stuff from doing Gromp, so don't worry about that. Okay. See, you already know, right? What's this E, right? Not good enough. Yeah. I'd say actually maybe good enough, almost good enough. But I would still say hold on to it, right? Always want to make sure. We could have killed Talia, I think. But you always want to hold on to it unless you know for sure. That's the consistent part, is that you only do it if you know it's good, right? So you can do that every time. You're gonna be winner, right? You only do it if you know it's good. Otherwise, that's a throw, right? Oh my, the stopwatch bait. Oh baby, get them all. It's okay. You probably can't chase this. Oh yeah, I would not chase this if I were you, right? How do we know?
We have no way of catching up.
Right, exactly. So you're just gonna eat a bunch of shit to the face. You actually almost died. You actually would have died here if you walked forward or something. So yeah, that's another thing I would say you should work on. Okay, we'll throw that in there. First is the mechanics part. We went over it a bunch. Second is mid game. Don't siege. Just go farm a lane. Push it out, past the river if you can. And then the third part is don't chase. That's it. Is that enough for you to focus on while you're in game? Can you like focus on those? Okay, those three things. Those are big. I don't care if anything else happens. As long as we can accomplish those three goals, you're good to go. Like you accomplish those three goals like 5 games in a row, and you'll know you've improved, right? Take a look at your replay and you'll say, oh, am I losing for a reason other than those 3 reasons, right? And if you are, that's when it's time to come back, right? That's when we need to work on something else, right? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
All right, cool. Any further questions or comments?
No, I think I'm good. Thanks for, helping me out and coaching me.
No problem. And if you do come up with any questions, feel free to message me on Discord. I'm always around, right?
You got it.
Also, anything with any clips, right? Anything like that, send them my way. Like if your team is spam pinging you and you're like wondering, am I right? Am I wrong? You send that to me and I'll be able to tell you, right? Anything like that. But other than that, let me know how your games go and good luck.
Yeah. Thank you. Good luck to you too.
Thanks. I'll send you the link once it's uploaded. So.
All right. Sounds good.
Cool. Have a good night.